Welcome back to The Gist. I'm joined by Bishop Byrne, the new bishop from the Diocese of Springfield, my bishop, of course. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Carolee, it's great to be here with you, as always.
Well, thank you so much. So we are in a new period in our church, right? The year of the Eucharist, where we're really trying to focus and help people understand what that means. What is that going to look like in the Diocese of Springfield and really across the country?
Right. It's all part of a larger schema being set forth by the bishops of a Eucharistic revival. In the Diocese of Springfield, we're starting with a year of the Eucharist, which is just to kick us off, but it's not meant to be a one and done. And so we're going to be encouraging adoration of the Blessed Sacrament, increased confessions, increased opportunities for processions, just anything to draw people into the excitement and the love of our Christ truly present in the Eucharist.
I think a lot of Catholics, I would say, don't understand the true presence. And in all honesty, and I know this is not confession, I didn't for a long time. Really, until I started having children, did I understand what the Eucharist meant. I'm not sure why. I had wonderful CCD teachers. They were my mom and dad, who are beautiful Catholics. Right. But I don't think it ever clicked until I was retaught at an older age.
And I think, there was a lot of things that went along with that. I think, some of after the Second Vatican Council, there were some things that were done to make the Eucharistic more accessible. But I think sometimes maybe it also made it taken for granted. Mm-hmm. Before you'd have to fast, and you were like, wow, you couldn't, if you didn't fast for midnight, people would all go to the 7 o'clock Mass so they could have a donut. And so I think some of that took away, the decreased emphasis on confession, and the goal was to make the Eucharist less scary. But I think what we need to do is to make it more celebrate that presence of our Lord. I don't think people have rejected the teaching. I think they never heard it.
Right.
That Jesus Christ is truly present in the Eucharist.
What do you think this will do once people understand this? I mean, I know that for me, when I was exposed to Eucharistic adoration, I just kind of fell in love with it. And I love the praise and worship music at some of the holy hours I've gone to, just being quiet in front of Jesus. What do you think you have seen it do for people?
It's in my experience, going back to when I was a chaplain at the University of Maryland in the early 2000s. As soon as you expose a young person to it, they fall in love with it. And it's transformative in their lives and in their faith lives. The vocations issues that we struggle with, especially in the Diocese of Springfield, I believe is a Eucharistic issue, in that people don't understand that without the priesthood you won't have the Eucharist. And so the more we emphasize the beauty of the Eucharist, the reality of it, the transformative nature of it, things transform across the board.
And when you talk about the Eucharist, I know a lot of holy hours and processions have been centered around special intentions for the gift of life and for the dignity of life. And I know that that's a really, really, obviously it's an important issue to you. You're a bishop. It should be an important issue for all Catholics. We know it's not. Why is that something that we all really have to witness about?
Oh, well, because just look at what happened. Once we stopped protecting life in the womb, then across the board, at every level, we stopped seeing the dignity of the elderly, and we started becoming a culture of death. And it's an emergency situation that we're in that before you know it, someone's going to be coming after you, saying, "Oh, well, she doesn't get to live." Right. So once you start to attack the most vulnerable, then everybody's vulnerable.
Everybody's on the table. And I have to say that something that I've always been impressed by is, so the 40 Days for Life is where you go out and you pray in front of the abortion clinic, and it happens twice a year, October and Lent. You will go out there, whether you have one person with you to pray the rosary or 100 people. Yeah. And oftentimes you attract a crowd just because, the bishop's coming, everybody comes. But you've been out there, with just a few people.
A handful of people.
And I have asked you when we've been out there, how do you have the courage to do this? How do you do it?
I don't find it at all intimidating. I think it's fun to stand out there and pray the rosary. And I look up at the sky, and I think our Blessed Mother's just like, yay, we gotta protect our babies. And so I think once you do it, you start realizing it's not quite so scary.
It's really not. I'm just a wimp about it. But do you think that it makes a difference? Because I know that I've heard from people, well, you know, I'm pro-life, but I'm not that pro-life. Do you think it makes a difference to publicly witness and proclaim?
Yeah, I think it makes a witness to those people driving by. And I think it also makes a supernatural difference. I think the power of our prayers, the influence of Our Lady saves lives and transforms lives. So it makes it all the difference. And I encourage people, whether they pray at home or pray in front of the abortion mills, then that they pray, but have the courage to step forward.
All right. God bless you, Bishop. Thank you so much for joining us today. We appreciate you being here.